Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to tackle a difficult but important and certainly timely topic right now. This Thursday is National Law Enforcement Suicide Awareness Day. Our guest this morning is a veteran law enforcement officer who lost a partner to suicide and found himself at a very low point in his own life where thoughts of suicide entered his mind. Matt Griffin wrote about that experience in his book, The Journey to Midnight, and he's here to give us the unique perspective on how to help first responders who are faced with a really challenging situation, sometimes even haunting situations on the job. We'll start first by reminding everybody that everyone watching that if you're in crisis, no matter who you are, if you have a loved one in crisis, there is a suicide in crisis lifeline that's only a phone call away. You see the number there, 988. Matt Griffin is in Studio A. Matt, thanks for being with us.
Absolutely, Eric. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Two things I thought about as I researched you. You talk a lot about reshaping the narrative,
right,
which is important, but I think just the narrative itself is important just because this is a topic that's so hard to talk about.
Yep.
But it occurs to me, I think, especially for cops. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. And I think, one of the things is that we've got to kind of rechange the stigma around it and how we reshape kind of how we're looking at it. And I think for a lot of us as police officers, we've been focused so long on helping other people that it's very difficult for us to look in the mirror and say, I need help as well. And so I completely agree with you.
Now, you're a Navy vet. You were a police officer in Virginia Beach and in Keene, New Hampshire.
Correct.
You worked in undercover assignments.
Yes, sir.
Heavy duty stuff. We've covered them, and then of course, there's many that we haven't covered because they've been private events. There have been law enforcement suicides here in Connecticut. Yeah. When you hear about this, is it something that you just wish more people would address? What do you want to do about it, Matt?
Eric, it breaks my heart every time that I hear it because it's preventable. It really is. And one of the things that we don't talk about is that the everyday average human being sees between 3 to 5 critical incidents in a lifetime. But the average police officer in a 20 to 25 year career sees about 400. And that's really what we need to bring out, and we need to start to talk about a little bit more because there's no help that's coming for all of these situations. The human body, the brain, the mind, it's not supposed to see, dead bodies here and there on a daily basis and be able to comprehend them. And, and that's really where the challenge lies for people like me and for a lot of our police chiefs and our leadership to really kind of get some help because, again, we need the best version of our police officers on the streets every single day, and it's very difficult for them to see the things that they're seeing and get back in that cruiser day in and day out.
I want to talk about some of the resources that you talk about so much, but you do a lot of speaking about this topic.
Yes,
and I mean, you were, we talked about it in the intro, you had dark days yourself. I mean, you got to the point of writing out a note and having to think, well, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to wait till tomorrow. And here we are, another tomorrow, and you're still, hanging in and dealing with the demons.
One day at a time, man, one day at a time, minute by minute, hour by hour some days. And I'll be the first to tell you that I'm still a broken person. I'm still struggling day in and day out. But I know that I have help. I know that I have resources, behind me. I know I have a great crew of people that lift me up when I need to be lifted up, and really that's I lost my partner March 9, 2017, and March 17th I wrote my suicide note. And I think one of the things that people need to understand is that when depression hit me and the PTSD and everything else kind of came back, I didn't look at it as suicide. I looked at it as a sacrifice. And as kind of that type A, military person, undercover cop type, I never thought it was weak or anything else. It's just my brain tricked me into thinking that this is the next step in a life that's been filled with sacrifices. From the time I was 18, I joined the Navy, from the Navy into the police department, and that's really just this was the next step. And my voice and I guess my message to anybody that's out there that's thinking that this may be the next step in their sacrifices, it's not. That's the PTSD and that's the trauma that's talking. And I would ask you to give it one more day. And that's what I did on March 17th. I had a good friend of mine call me at about 11:15 at night, and it broke through my do not disturb, and I had my suicide note, like you said. And he said, man, I want to tell you 2 things. Number 1, I want to tell you that I love you, and number 2, I want to tell you that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I made the best decision of my life on March 17, 2017. I said, if today's a good day to die, so is tomorrow. And if anybody out there is feeling the way that I felt on March 17th, let me be the first to tell you that tomorrow's a new day, and deal with tomorrow. And then the next day, and again, what I did was I changed that mentality. Every day was a good day to die, so is the next day. And then I turned that into, well, today's a good day to die, so is tomorrow. I turned that into, today I'm gonna do something good for myself. And then I turned that mantra into, today I'm gonna do something good for somebody else. And I'll tell you what, the most selfish thing I do every day is do something nice for somebody else, because it gives me so much hope and so much good feelings. If that makes sense.
It does. Just remarkable what you've just said. But I know part of doing something good for something else is sharing these resources.
Yeah.
I want you to tell us about some of them, because there's important stuff out there that people need to know about.
I think one of the most important things that is not talked about enough is a type of therapy called EMDR. And I speak to a lot of different conferences, a lot of different places, and it's so widely underutilized and underknown about. And so again, I had a child die in my arms back in 2005, and I wasn't able to sleep for about 5 years because of some of the situations that happened inside that. I don't want to give away some of the stuff that's in the book.
Sure.
But one of my counselors said, I want to try this thing called EMDR, and I always mess it up as eye movement desensitization regulation, something like that. I always get the name messed up. But what it does is it helps you retrain your brain, so when you go to that dark place, your brain goes back to a happy place. You're able to get some sleep. After 5 years, it was the first time that I got a good 8 hours of sleep. And I remember calling my counselor saying, I don't know what kind of voodoo you did on me, but it worked. And we were able to unlock a lot of things that I had built down, and it was very, very powerful, and it really kind of opened up a lot. And as I've traveled around, I've said that a lot, and I've heard other officers say it's been phenomenal. And so I offer that up. And then the one other thing I want to offer up too, from a resource standpoint, is there's a program out of Dallas, Texas, that's been very, 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 very efficient. It's called Checkpoints. And the deputy chief that started it, Ruben Ramirez, was phenomenal. And it's just a program that talks about what to do before the incident. We're always addressing the incident after the fact, but let's talk about what's going to happen when we get there. Let's do some pre-work, and that's really been very effective.
We have some phone numbers too. We have 30 seconds left. Do you want to mention some of those resources?
Yeah, and I know we're going to put them up on the screen, but there's a ton of different resources. There's the COP line. There's also our Better Crisis line, and then our Cop to Cop. And so again, sometimes we just want to talk to somebody else that's been through the things that we've been through, and that's what the Cop to Cop line and the COP line is, and the Veteran Crisis line. So whether you're a police officer, whether you're a veteran, whether you're just struggling, we just want you to know that there's hope, and tomorrow's a new day. And please pick up the phone and call and just ask for help, because we're here and we're ready to listen and we're ready to help. And if there's anything that I can personally do, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, whether it's via my website, author Matt Griffin, my book, The Journey to Midnight, or anything else that I'm completely, no pun intended, I'm a wide open book.
All right. So. Well, we'll put those resources on our website as well. We have the websites and the phone numbers. Your story is amazing, and I appreciate you coming to share it. We have that National Law Enforcement Suicide Awareness Day coming up this week, and this is a great time to spread the word. It's an important message. Matt Griffin, thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate having me.
If you learn more about Matt's work, head to his website. It's authormattgriffin.com.